Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of Dead End here in Skylines. Where today, guys, we're going to hopefully try and build our beautiful little water treatment plant. That, I don't know whether we're going to be able to afford it this episode, but eventually it's going to be set up to recycling that raw sewage water into clean drinking water for all the residents of Dead End right now. Last episode, guys, we did some beautiful expansions and we created our very own sunken railroad, which I asked you guys whether we should kind of continue that sunkenness going through Tumbleweed. A lot of you guys really like the idea of that, so we might kind of try and implement something very similar to that at some point. But if you guys are enjoying Dead End and want to see more, then please make sure you smash that like button down below. If you're under and here, to make sure you do subscribe so you are notified when that next episode does come out. Now, we're also going to take a look at building the second ever town in Dead End right now, which is going to be taking place over around this area, which is going to be like the town that kind of everyone that lives there pretty much works in the water treatment plant area, which is going to be pretty exciting to get started. It's not going to be huge. It's really going to be small, maybe a couple of hundred residents or whatnot. They're going to be situated there, and we kind of built this beautiful little wiggly road in a way to kind of make it a longer distance than going from here to over here, just in case that ever happened. I want to make sure the traffic stays off this. It's going to be interesting to kind of see. We've got a few little issues on the go right now in terms of death care. We do have our little kind of cemetery over in this section, which currently we're reaching capacity when it comes to the cemetery. It's 99% used right now, so we might have to now go ahead and build a crematorium, which will place the crematorium right next to it. So if I extend this road a little bit, actually if I put the road going across here by 10 and then come up by 5, I can build a little crematorium just here. That should hopefully, handle the needs and the demands and stuff like that. We'll kind of see how it goes. But anyway, I want to take a look at our water treatment plant. So, we built this rough outline in the last episode. If you didn't kind of see last episode, guys, I highly recommend checking it out. And it's going to work very similar to how I previously did an experiment. And again, if you haven't seen that experiment video, check that out. It's hilarious. But basically what I do is everything inside of the dirt road, I'm going to drop down and create like an artificial pool. And we're going to pump in the raw sewage, say here. It will then channel through here to over this side, where we'll have then a drinking water pump. But in the middle, I have to implement these floating garbage collectors. And this is what's used to turn that sewage water into clean drinking water. Now, it will take a little bit of time to be able to get this done because, one, it's going to cost a lot of money. That's my biggest thing why I feel like I might not be able to get it set up, but I'll be able to get the basics set up anyway. And I'm not sure how many of them I'm going to need to kind of turn into clean drinking water. That in itself is also going to be an interesting kind of thing. So I've got 2, so we can kind of, have when the demands increase, we've always got that secondary one to get set up. So before we start building it, then we can actually build this small little town and hopefully kind of get back in return a little bit of extra tax money to fund this brand new project. So as always, guys, it's going to be a brand new town, and then when it comes to naming on these towns, I want you guys to have an input. So straight away, it calls itself Fairview Square, and whatever we name this town is also going to be the name of the water treatment plant too. So give me some names and some suggestions in the comment section down below of what we could potentially call it. Now, it is going to be a small little town, so I don't think I'm going to do any main bulky roads. It's all going to be these like kind of basic little side roads. And we'll pick a point. Well, that's kind of a little bit of an awkward bend there, isn't it? So yeah, we'll pick 2 points leading in. So a 10 there, and if I go across by a 30 and then 10 in. So if I just do that as the kind of the 2, well, I don't know if you class it as 4 entry points, but the 2 main kind of connections there into this small little town. And we'll do that's a good point. So if I did a 2, I'm just wondering if I can squeeze a cul-de-sac in. How close are we on this for a cul-de-sac? Oh, pretty close. So what if I deleted this, and actually what I'll do, just to make sure that we've got the right method, do a 5 there, 5 there, and a 5 there. I just want to see what this kind of design would look like. If I did one there and one there. And then what I have to do then is upgrade this road here. And it can only be this road, because if I turn that into that same type of road, it doesn't really create that little kind of roundabout effect / vibe. But if I do this on both sides, right, this kind of then really does create that small town vibe where everyone's living really close to the highway because it's really good access to where they need to get to. We shouldn't see too much demand for this road in general anyway. And then I need to upgrade this little section there and there. Alright, sweet, sweet, sweet. And then we'll do the rest of our kind of design. So, bring this out by another 5. I'm going to bring this out by another 10. And then we'll go down just to here. I'll bring this up as well. We kind of need to, I kind of need to make it kind of do a few different bits and bobs. If I went up by, say, 9. Actually, if I go up by 4. A little bit of a 9 by 9 bend. Because I'm now trying to sprawl it out slightly. But I don't want to get too carried away with the sprawl. Because that's when we kind of start to create some really weird designs. So I think, do you reckon that's as far as the town is going to kind of spread? I kind of like the idea of having the highway tearing through, the cul-de-sacs just there. And I might drop a couple of more cul-de-sacs in, because this is really, it really is that kind of midtown, out of nowhere vibe where the roads just come to dead ends. Get it? Dead ends. Ha! It took how many episodes to reference that? Oh, wow. So each, I mean, I don't know whether to do each road as a cul-de-sac end. But it really does kind of just, whoa, it looks like alien crop circles. It really does just kind of like, you know, this is it. There is no, you can visually tell there's going to be no future planning. I've missed one just there, but I don't know whether to kind of keep that in. Or whether to squeeze another one on. Now, we'll squeeze another one on. Bam. Bam. There we go. So that is our little town just there that we're going to be building up. Looks really good. It's going to need its own little water supply. So if I just kind of first initially get set up with this gridded format. The town has no plans or organisation, but the water grid underneath does. Amazing. I'll do one more. That kind of went wonky, but I'm going to leave it so people get annoyed. And we'll connect it directly up to over here. So we then have water being pumped over here right now. We're not going to have any power, but I think we could potentially get some wind power up here. Yeah, because there's a lot of wind right now. So if I did a wind turbine here and one there, as so they kind of wiggle, the road wiggles around them, which I think is pretty cool. And I'll first kind of designate some commercial. So if I did a nice little commercial section just here and just here as well. So the people that are living around have a little bit of shopping that they can handle, but the majority of stuff then they kind of have to then go outside of the town. So if I designate then all of this to being residential, but also we are going to need a small little medical clinic for these guys. So I'll place that just there. We're going to need a small little firehouse, which I'll place just there. We're going to need a small little police station, which I'll squeeze just here. We're also going to need a school, which I'll place just there. So they all need power and stuff. So do I wait until there's a little bit more zoning down before I kind of build up more of this? Because I don't want to kind of tear a power line through it all. Or do you reckon it's not? No, we're not really going to get it just yet, are we? So if I just go to there for now, little bit of power. Little bit of power. But of course, Nothing else comes from it. We have no residential demand, to be honest with you. Right, if I go to there, a bit more commercial here, to hopefully hook those guys up. And that's as far as we're going to take it. The rest has to then naturally grow. But we got a beautiful little town thrown in right now. It does look like an alien symbol of some sorts, which the industrial area will kind of also take advantage of some of the services quite close by. And we want this road to kind of come down and connect to it as well. So with the national road that I've got set up at the minute, that will come down to, if I bring it to here, I do want it to kind of connect into here. Rather than do it down there because, you know, it kind of just leads in. Unless I had it coming... For now, we'll just kind of get it to connect up to here. So a 20 by 16, that's fine by me. Just simply to go into there. I don't know where I'll eventually take it, but I just want to get a connection there. So if anybody wants to go over here, they can bypass this. But ultimately, it's not the shorter route to the industrial area. That's the main point we're kind of going with on this. So it'll take a while before we do start seeing any residential demands coming in. And I think if any residential demands do come in, there's still gaps in tumbleweed that is still yet to be filled up. So we kind of have to wait for that to tick along. We could do with a little bit more industrial though. So I'm going to kind of place down this little section here for industrial. That might spark a little bit more, well, job growth and all that kind of jazz. We have got the taxes turned up. So it'll be interesting to see how it now kind of plays out. But that will bring its own problems in general. We've got a building burning down there. We're bringing more traffic to the area. So it's got to watch ourselves on that. It's got to slightly watch ourselves. And this town, the commercial on this side is now going to die out. But I just really want to wait till this town slowly comes together. There's still a few little stuffs that we've got to fill up in tumbleweed before we can progress any further. So how is our oil town over here? We still got the car wash. Still got the built-on car wash. Cactus Oil Company. We started last episode in kind of producing some petroleum, but we need more oil pumps. So I think I'm going to place some more oil pumps down. We start to get these bad boys on the go. So I've built another 2. I got a 1 space. Another 2 just there. That will increase. Oh, okay. We've just leveled up. We've leveled up, but that increased then the amount of barrels that we're now producing. Again, I got a little bit easy because it does cost us a fortune. So hopefully these buildings over here will continue to have a nice supply. We've got a load over here that we can just drop and sell whenever we need. I might build. How expensive is it for another one of these? 7,500. Right, build another storage plant. So we can store a load of goods back into that one. And we'll let that kind of progress naturally. So there's our little town. Oh, okay, there we go. Our little town's now having residents. Sweet, mate. Sweet. And worst case scenario, we have to do some dedicated turning lanes on this. But yeah, you see how busy this area is now getting. But it's okay. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. I mean, that middle section there could probably do with some dedicated turning lanes, but it's not the end of the world at the minute, so there's no big issues just yet. So as that now builds up, then as we now slowly start to get some more money in, let's kind of take a look at sorting this out. So we're going to work with this one to begin with. And what we'll do is we'll delete these, well, I'll work with both of them, but I'll delete the road just there, so we've created this small little funnel. And currently with the brush size, bring that up there, we are 447 in the air. So if I bring this to 447, if I go 420, then it's almost a 30 drop to make this as big as possible. So we could key wall it off, is what we could do, but I was going to use the roads right now to kind of create our design. And I kind of like the roads going around the edge because it feels like it's not like, well, it basically feels like it's not like a huge plant, a huge built-up area. Kind of, it does feel like that small town, kind of, you know, it hasn't got all the kind of fancy technology like a city sewage plant would have. in many ways. That's the kind of vibes we kind of get from it. But if I leave it to that, I don't actually whether to kind of keep the roads back in. I don't 100% know just yet. I'll probably have like roads going across as bridges, like little walkways and stuff, which would be pretty cool. But that'll be interesting. Ooh, actually, I got a better idea that I could do. So if I also flatten this, actually, right, this is my idea. If I okay, so if I sort this out, let me get rid of the anarchy. Why can I not build across? What's going on? There we go. I don't know what I was doing then. Right, if I do that to there. Right, so, because what I could do is I could fill this up, fill that up, right? Have the water flowing down here on both sides, and then turn to go back up this way on the inside. That could be an interesting little kind of sewage plant from the get-go, couldn't it? Which would make me want to then upgrade these roads. Terrain height too high? What do you mean? Apparently terrain height too high. I don't get you. Why you're now doing this to me? So let's play around because there's a few ideas I want to do with this. So if I just kind of quickly fit it back up. Because the way I was going to go about doing it, the game plan might have now changed slightly. The game plan might have now changed in my head. Still terrain too high. Oh, that's a point. Can you, Okay, you actually can't elevate them roads. But then if I'm doing any bridges or anything like that, I can use a different type of road full stop. Oh, that's why I couldn't do it. I was doing path. That's why I couldn't do it earlier. Oh, Seniac, what are you doing, boy? What are you doing? So, yeah. So that filters in down to here, and that is there a full distance of 24. So if I just come down by a 10, which would be about here, which in reality, that is what we're doing. We're funneling it down to here. Or do I want to funnel it the opposite way? Maybe start up here and then funnel it back up that way. Is probably the way to go forward. Yeah. So if I delete that, if I delete you, and connect these up. So it's not the stereotypical treatment plant. It's our treatment plant. It does go a little bit funky there. So then if I bring this out by 10 and lead this way, because it can lead directly to the river. Right? It can lead directly to the river, this plant, which is good for us. Oh, actually, you know what? I have to come out a bit further. Because I need space to place down the pumps. So if I came up by 5 like that, so I got space there to drop it in. So that this will come up by then by 15. Like that. 5 and across. Right, there we go. So that is the gist of it. That is the gist of our brand new treatment plant. We'll have to key wall it off, but if I can just kind of use the roads right now as a guideline. So we're doing 420. Do with that number as you wish. I'm going to drop this all now down. There we go. So whether this works or not, I'm not 100% sure if it's going to. But it allows me to funnel the sewage water in a direction and I mean, as of right now, back out to the river. So even if I can't afford to kind of turn it to clean drinking water just yet, at least I can kind of create my raw sewage plant before we turn it into drinking water. So we've basically created these little departments in many ways, is what we've done. So bring this down to here. And it's going to take a lot of sewage outlets to kind of create the flow that I want. So we have sewage outlets here that drop down to there, and both sides, and it all comes up to here, then it will all funnel through this way and pretty much out. And then that's when we kind of create these little buckets in many ways before it goes into another basin just here into clean drinking water before we then create an outlet. Now, from the actual, I think it's the Natural Disasters DLC, we actually have, I'm not sure where it kind of falls under. Oh, it's here. It's right here in front of me. This freshwater outlet. So if you are producing too much water, you can kind of pump it out to wherever you want to go. I don't know how that's going to work in terms of sewage water, but it could be interesting. It could be interesting. So if I keep it like that for now, we just kind of then pretty much need to key wall it all off. So if I start with this, because I can run in line with the roads, not do all of it just yet. So key wall, come off there. So I know that's a 12 to here. That then becomes a 5 back. Oh, messed that up there. That's a 25 to there and to there. Right, you get it? Because at the same time, I kind of don't get it. I really don't. So my next problem is, this is actually quite a narrow and thin little area. Now, do I use a flood wall for this little area? I could do, but let me just kind of go around the edges first. So I get to there. So go up by 12, because I know that is a 12, and connect to there. I got to sort out all these little dents and stuff. And I just go down to here. So back up by 5, down to there, and then straight across. I've got to level it all out as well to make sure it's all at the right level. But this is pretty much how it's going to work. So down to there and to there. So across by 5, down to here, straight across. Good stuff. So we're just going to sort this out then. So if I now delete this, go back, because we got it exactly where we want it. So I go 5, bam and bam. And I don't know whether it's because of how, it could actually be because of how much it's dropped down. So if I select all of this, and if I just quickly make this align it with the object height of, say, that. Okay, that's what it was. That's what it was. So let me select all of this then, and align it to the object height of you. Bam. Everyone's back to normal. Well, I say back to normal. I reckon these could do with sticking out a bit more, because the keyboard is not liking that 5. So if I go by 8. Do you prefer the 8 instead? We'll find out. Okay, they prefer the 8 channel instead. How does a standalone key wall look? If I did that, because this is something I've never done before, and this could replace what I'm doing. No, it's always got to have that one side, hasn't it? Yeah. So if I went up to here, so if I came up to here, which is 24, and if I came in by 8, alright, delete you. I'm interested now. It sparked my interest, this has. What is that distance? 12. This literally has sparked your boy's interest. Well, I need the whole thing to do it, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Alright, to there. It does look kind of funky, doesn't it? It does. This is why, we should have better systems than this, rather than doing what I'm doing. I mean, it could still work, but it's still very, 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 very funky. Right. I'll sort the rest of this kind of area right now. We'll come back, and then hopefully we can dump in the raw sewage. Now, while it doesn't look like much now, we've done a few little changes to kind of, be able to do our beautiful little experiment. I'm just going to raise the last bridge here just high enough that it goes over the quay wall. There we go. Bring that one actually down a bit as well. There we go. I got the normal little side roads. Got the bridges that are kind of like a little bit more standardized. Bring the middle ones up here. So the water would flow out wonderful. I feel like I'm doing an experiment inside an experiment, which is really, really weird. Not an experiment inside, like an experiment inside of the series. Oh, hang on, we got power issues? Where do we have power issues then? I couldn't quite tell. But we do have a lot of death. Right, we're going to empty the cemetery right now. Slowly get rid of that. We got actually quite a big stack of cash in right now, and that's all because of how long it took me to freaking build our little water treatment plant. But anyway, another crematorium there would hopefully collect more of those bodies. So how it's going to work is we're going to put little kind of sewage pumps in each of these little kind of pools to begin with. Is they're going to funnel all the way out from both sides, and obviously because the water clashes here, it will then funnel directly out here, down there, and then go out into the river. But obviously we'll close up the ability for it to go out the river, and then we'll kind of build another pool here where we'll have water pumps that suck up the water into drinking water. But along the way, along each of these, well, the little kind of what do you want to call it, a tunnel, creek, canal, I'll call it canal system here. This will have a bunch of those, what are they called, floating garbage collectors, which turn the dirty water into clean water. So by the time it eventually reaches that little basin at the bottom here, it will be clean, drinkable water, which is what is then going to supply everywhere in Dead End. Eco-friendly. That is the name of the game right now. That is the name of the game. So it looks a bit funky right now, but it won't look good until we do start pumping it with sewage water and all that kind of jazz. So we'll get these ones to begin with. It costs $3.20 a pop, which is quite expensive. And it's kind of set up quite nicely that I can choose what side I want to put it on. So for example, if I chose one there, and let's say one there. And I did the same on this side, so kind of borderline trying to center it, one there and one there. And then connect all these up like that. We'll run a pipe right down the middle, which will not actually connect it to there. We'll get it to run with the road. That can connect down to this point. So that will turn them on, but they'll come on. They'll start pumping sewage water into it, but they don't really have power at the moment is our big issue. So to save a couple of pennies, we'll do the solar car park panels, because we're going to need them for eventually when the... oh, that's going to be quite a little tough one to squeeze this in. Right, if I put you there... Can I not squeeze these ones onto this side? No, okay, we'll kind of keep them there for now. Because we're going to need parking for all of our employees when they come over and try and fix things. Now, this actually might get filled up pretty quick. Well, a lot quicker than I expected it to. Which might now actually start causing some flooding. But what I can do is I can turn two of them off on both sides. Thus saving a bit of cash. And also not pumping too much sewage water into here. So that is literally how it's going to work. That is the whole gist of this little sewage plant. And then eventually we'll turn it into clean drinking water, and it will get sucked up at the other end. Jersey. And what I've tried to do is I've made this twice as wide as these coming in. Because as the flow comes in, this middle one is the kind of the same size as these two, so it doesn't back up and build up the sewage water. We've got enough kind of volume and space for the water to kind of pass through for now. So I think for now then it will just kind of slowly fill itself up until I do create that little outlet going out. But I just want to make sure that the whole town, everything is all good. So we're collecting the bodies, all good. We're back to normal. How is the did you just have an issue? How are we doing over here then? So still not maximum profits coming in. They're still complaining about there's not enough raw materials. Like we've got What happened here? I've lost one. Okay, do you know what we need? We need an actual fire thing over here, don't we? So let me get a fire station just squeezed in. I'll place it just here. There we go for these guys. So if anything kicks off again, we got the fire department on standby. Phew. Damn, that's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. Right, so how are we doing over here now? Right, it's slowly starting to fill up. So we do have to kind of think about maybe turning it into clean drinking water. So how expensive are they? They are 50,000, which we've got the money. It's just how expensive they are to run a week. So if I place my first one, let's say here, and we'll do another one here. Okay, they're very expensive. Now, for us to clean the water passing through, we need the flow to continue. So if I put it into pause mode for a second, and then if I just get those key walls to create another smallish basin that kind of gets built up here. So I need those key walls again. So if I come out by let's come out by 20 on both sides. And what we'll do then is we'll do a 10 by 40. So then that would be a 20. So that would be a. So it's a 30 by 40 by the looks of it. And that's what then gets funneled into our clean drinking water. And then what we'll do is we'll create and use those. What was it called again? The freshwater outlet over here that will funnel out the water if we then start sucking up too much. So we shouldn't have much of an issue. Right, let me now just get all these walls to the same level. There we go. And we also need to get the roads leading over to this place. So that'll get to the same level there. And what's great about it is we're kind of a little bit more elevated to where that is, so we can kind of then stagger it down to get to the water bed, which the water bed itself is currently at 47. No, that's not the wrong one. 229, whereas over here, obviously, we're at 420. So if I bring this brush size up a bit more. Oh, some of these key walls haven't gone in as much as I would like them to go in. It's because they're facing the wrong way round. So if I redo this now, by a 10, straight across, we're Gucci boys. We're pretty much good at this point. So, right to the edge, best as I can. There we go. The edges are going to be a bit funky for some of them. If I can push the mountain area back slightly. Same for over here. We can then smoothen it off. Same for on this side too. Smoothing it off just gradually. Get it looking good. So it doesn't look like too much of a shambles. And then into play mode. So that will funnel down to there then. Obviously it'll create that thing and then make the water flow through. But it will take some time before we actually do start seeing it turn in to clean drinking water. We're going to get that flow coming through right now. Which is very expensive to kind of run these. Very expensive. The water's looking a little bit different colour here, but it's going to take some time before that ultimately gets turned into clean drinking water. So we might have to pump some of this out, which is not going to be a good thing for the water collection just here. Now we've got to figure out how much water are we actually sucking up. So water consumption is that. Now if I was to pump it up from a water tower, 16. Right, okay, this is going to be interesting. So if let's say I placed this down here, and then got rid of you, and got rid of you. How much does it drop down to? Okay, so some peeps are missing out on water. I'm gonna have to build another one. So 2 water towers just here. All good. We're back in business. Okay, so now I don't have to worry too much about then breaking the barrier and letting this out until we can eventually keep building and placing down more of these little floating things before this water gets turned into clean drinking water. Yikes. So what I then do, it's now starting to spill over again right now. So what we then do then is we get to this point here, the key wall, bring it down to there, bring it down. We'll kind of slope it down because we don't want to... I want to create like a little cascade is basically what I'm saying. So if I bring that by 1... No, that's not what I wanted to do. Alright, by 15. By 15. And like I said, I want to create a little cascade. Right, that might be a little bit too low, that one. Let me bring these up. About there. And then we slope those as an angle. No, let me undo that because it's way too... No, it's way too dramatic. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. So, keeping the actual... I should have just kept these to the same height. It makes so much sense to do it like that. Because then I cascade it via the terraforming of the land. So, we are at 420. So, keeping it... Oh, look at that. And then the key wall had to be on that side the wrong way around. Of course it did. Of course it did, boys. There we go. So 420 to this point. We get it to the point where it kind of matches up slightly. So we don't want the water to flow in because the water is also so happens to be at 420. Isn't that weird? Or isn't that just freaking weird? So if I make this then 430, so the water is definitely in the river, not this high. So we can create a small little cascade leading out. So if I put it into play mode now. So it's definitely a lot higher. So it creates a small little cascade leading out of our sewage water. Now eventually we'll close that off to the point where we don't have any sewage being dumped into the river. But we need to invest more money into turning that into clean, drinkable water. Which is very expensive. It's a very expensive job to do so. But if we are trying to create not an eco-friendly place, but trying to be environmentally friendly, the water that we first start dumping into the river, once we can clean that up, then we can close it off and then drink the water. Ew! Seniac, you're going to make them drink poop water? Yes, I am. So, more of these. We're going to need lots of these right now. So if I build I'm going to build another 2. It does take quite a few of them. And the water does eventually clean. It does eventually get clean. We just have to give it a lot of time. You eventually start to see like a streak tearing through. But like I said, it does take a little bit of time. It might be that I need to slightly reposition some of them. So if I put that right over here, put you right there, move that one over. It's cost me 10,000 a pop to move these. Holy moly. We'll then slowly start tearing through it. Do they need power, by the way? They don't, do they? No. So then it does 50,000. That's the rate that it can kind of clean it at. But it's still not enough. It's still legit not enough. So if I build another 2. And that's what this whole little tunnel section here is going to be eventually filled up with these little floating garbage things that just keep pumping and cleaning the water. It takes a while. It does take a while. But we'll eventually start seeing a difference very soon. So if I just go a little bit crazy for now, while we've got the money in the bank, because I can always get rid of them. I just want to see how much are we going to start placing down before we do start seeing an impact and change. So pollution. There is the current pollution. Not looking too good. Not looking too good right now. But we'll give it time. They do take a while to work. But once you start seeing the cleanness coming through, then it's all good. It's all good. But that is how we're going to create a beautiful little water treatment plant here in Dead End. And this whole town... Oh, we need the road kind of connecting to it. So we'll delete this to here. And I'll eventually get like basins and all that kind of stuff set up. So 12. That's a 10. 12 by 12 on the bend. Connect this just into there just for now. Oh, look at that. Can you see the difference here? Can you now visually see the difference? I told you it took a while. I told you it took a while. But you can now visually start to see the difference. Oh my goodness me. Look at that, boys. I mean, it's not, you can't drink it yet. Don't get me wrong, you can't drink it. But a few more of those and eventually we'll be no longer polluting the river. And, of course, turn it into clean drinking water. Like I said, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. What are the sewage treatment needs are very, very high right now. Very, very high. So what if I then get rid of this? Get rid of you. Get rid of you. And then with the current sewage that we're pumping out, seems to be able to handle these. I can just turn them on when I need them. But the fact that that's now working is good. So what we'll do then is I'll turn... Actually, will I get a refund? No. Right. We'll turn a couple of these off. Because they cost us quite a lot to run. Because I now know that they're working. We now know they're working, so I'll turn a couple off. Just so we're not losing a gazillion dollars. And as we start to earn more revenue, I can build a few more of them. Build this water treatment plant up a little bit more. And before you know it, guys, we are environmentally friendly. We are self-sufficient is the main one. That is the main one. Now, obviously, you can't take more out than you're bringing in. That is just, you know, how it works. So we are always going to be pumping more sewage than we're sucking up. But we'll probably always still keep this little outlet. But then I can do the flood outlet, can't I? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But there we go. It took a while. It took a while to figure it out. It took a while to get it all up and running. But our sewage treatment plant is now underway. It's now underway. Once I get more of these in and that is then completely green, then we will no longer be polluting the river. How far does the pollution go? Can we see this? Yeah, you can see the brownness. We've polluted quite a bit. We still are polluting. But as time goes on, we'll eventually get rid of it all. Hasn't been too shabby. Oh, these guys have... I've seen them complaining about a little bit of power too, so I might give them another wind turbine. We'll give them one over on this side. There we go. So, again, guys, give me some name suggestions for our little town in the comment section down below. Got our little water treatment plant set up too on the outskirts, which is pretty good. Whatever we call the town is what we're going to call our water treatment plant. So I'm going to give this a little region as well. But guys, if you did enjoy this episode, please smash that like button down below. If you are new around here, then make sure you do subscribe. But until next time, I'll see you all soon. So, good.